Hi, viola players. This is a teaching video for Here Comes the Sun, and it's going to be assigned week 8. And you're going to have 2 full weeks to work on it. So it's going to be assigned week 8. We're not going to have a new assignment week 9. It's just going to be submitted by the end of the week. Okay, so take a listen. I'm getting my furnace replaced. That's what's going on in the back. Okay, so the trickiest part of this, there are some rhythmic issues, but also the key signature. It doesn't affect the violins as much, but we are written down an octave, so it affects us a little bit more. We have an F and a C, which we're very used to. It means high twos on the upper 2 strings. But we also have a G sharp. Okay, so that means if you're going to play, you're going to have high twos here. So your F and your C. That's great. Okay, but you're also going to have third finger stretched on quite a few strings. Okay, so you're going to have on the D string, you're going to have a stretched out 3 if you play. On the G string, you're going to have a stretched out 3 if you play, because that's going to be your C. You're also not going to be able to play your open C string. You have to play it pulled backwards 1. And then on the C string, on your lowest string, you're going to have a high 3. So we have high 3s everywhere except for the top string. And we have high 2s everywhere. And then we have these backwards 1s if we were to play instead of an open string on the C string and the G string. Okay, so what I said in the violin teaching video was the trickiest part about this is the rhythm. So if you're familiar with the song, it's going to make it a lot easier. So I've included the YouTube video so you can listen to that, really listen to it, get it in your head, and then the rhythms will come a lot easier. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is you have 8 measures of rest plus 1 beat. So I'm going to start in measure 9, and I'm going to play that first section up to the next set of rests. So I'm going to play it without the ties. As I always say in orchestra, if the ties are going to mess you up, leave them out so that you can really concentrate on what rhythm they're talking about. So if you look at the first measure, you're going to have 8, 8, 8, quarter. So they threw a longer note in there and then a short one. So rest, ti, 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 ta, ti, ta. Okay. So I'm going to play all separate notes. I'm going to play through that section. Okay. Don't forget high 3. Your very first high 3 is your very first note. 1, 2, ready. It's rest. Okay, so I left out those ties. Now let me put them in this time. 1, 2, ready, it's rest. 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 High 3. Bottom, bum, 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 bottom, bottom. That's the piano part. Okay, so I did it both ways. I left out the ties the first time, and then I put in the ties when I continued on. If you listen to the YouTube video, if you're familiar with the song, it's going to be a lot easier. So you're going to be able to, you're really just going to be able to feel it and hear it. Okay, I'm going to go on after the repeat sign. So this is measure 16. Again, watching, always, always, always violas, high 3s. Okay, 1, 2, actually, I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4 measures. I will play once without the ties, and then I'll play with the ties. 1, 2, ready, it's rest, high 3. Rest. Okay, so it's rest, ti, 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 ta, rest. Ti, 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 ta, ti, ta. Ti, 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 ta, ti, ti, ta. Okay, so you're thinking, okay, or you could say rest, short, 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 long, rest. Short, 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 long, short, long. Short, 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 long, short, short, long. Now, why am I saying short and long? I forgot. I'm just kind of going on like everybody knows what it is. If the notes are connected, they're eighth notes, but also if the note has a little curvy tail attached to it, it can go up, it can go down, depends on which way the stem is facing. That's also an eighth note, and that's going to be fast. Okay, now everything's relatively fast. Things have to stay at a steady pulse. So how fast is fast? It just has to be twice as fast as the type of note, a quarter note, that does not have a tail or is not connected to anything else. So your basic quarter note is your beat. So bum, 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 bum. Eighth notes that are connected or with a tail: short, 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 short. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And now, while eighth notes are generally connected, so we usually do them in pairs, they're not always connected, and you know that. And when they're not connected, it causes the notes to jog so that they're not landing directly on the beats. And then we have a syncopated rhythm, but it makes life in music more interesting. Okay, so that's what we have. Okay, now I'm going to go on at measure 24 and finish up the section up to the repeat sign. Okay, so don't forget, again, high three. That's going to be the one thing in the violas. Here we go. 1, 2, high three, ready, it's rest. 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 4 bars, rest, and that would be accompaniment there. Okay, and again, that was done just the notes, not with the ties. All right, now we've entered into this section here. It's kind of a musical interlude, and I know we are musical, but this was the part that we're playing is the vocal part, the singing part. Okay, and what you're going to notice is while we started in 4/4 time at the beginning, we're changing time signatures. So the key signature, the sharps at the beginning, are going to stay the same. But the time signatures or the numbers that are at the beginning of the measures are going to change. So we have 3/8 time. Okay, so anyone who did the Tarantella or anyone who played We Shall Overcome, and we've done it in a lot of other pieces, when we use 6/8 time or 3/8 time, which is written here, or 12/8 time, there are going to be 6 or 12 or 3/8 notes in every measure, or combinations of notes that add up to that. Okay, now generally the conductor, me, doesn't necessarily beat every eighth note unless the tempo is very slow, because my arm would fall off and then I have to go get that rotator cuff surgery and I have to wear the big pillow and then I wouldn't be able to play and it would be bad. So instead of going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So one pulse for 3 groups, or a group of 3/8 notes. Now, who's going 1, 2, 3? That's you in your head. We call that subdividing or thinking of all of the eighth notes. Okay, so I'm going to actually skip ahead to where you play, which is measure 39, and it's got a dotted eighth note, or dotted quarter note, sorry, excuse me, which is equal to 3/8 notes. So I would play 1, 2, 3, then I'd move on to measure 40, 1, 2, 3. Then I'd move on to 41, 1, 2, 3. And then I switch back to 5/4. So anything that has a 4 underneath it is something that we feel comfortable with. The bottom note, or the bottom number, means that we have just quarter notes in our measure, or things that add up to quarter notes. The 5 is unusual. They've just added one additional note in there. Okay. And then after the repeat sign, we go back to 4/4. So I'm going to play from the 3/8 time in measure 38. Okay. Here we go. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, ready. It's 3/8 time. 1, 2, 3. All right. And I'm not sure if you noticed it, but right there, the downbeat of the 5/8 time, there's an F sharp. So that's another high 3. Okay, now I'm going to go on at the 4/4 time, and I'm going to pretty much play through the rest of the piece because this is a sandwich. So the beginning and the end are the same, and then they have that middle interlude bit. Okay, I'm going to skip the 4 measures of complete rest and come in on the C sharp in, I don't know what measure it is, 47. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, ready. It's high 3. Rest. Tie. rest, rest, high 3, rest. Ooh, there's your first G sharp, backwards 1, don't play. Oh my gosh, can you imagine? Ooh, that's horrible. Keep going, rest. Rest. Rest, high 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Second measure, ready, ending here. Rest. 2, 3, 66. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, ready, and 1. And I held it out longer than you needed to. So, okay, so the biggest thing for viola is, well, obviously you've got to know the piece. So listen to the piece. I'm going to include the YouTube video too. So listen to that, listen to the teaching bit. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.